"We'll destroy you." The Marines surrounded her in the mess hall, not knowing she was Navy SEAL.
They thought it was a joke at first. One Marine noticed her sitting alone near the corner of the mess hall. No unit patch they recognized, no familiar face, no loud personality trying to fit in. Just quiet. Then someone said it. "We'll destroy you in tomorrow's joint drill." Laughter erupted across the table. Welcome back to United War, where underestimation is the first mistake. The base was hosting a joint training cycle. Marines on one side, naval personnel rotating in for cross-branch exercises on the other. Rivalry wasn't just common, it was tradition. And she looked like an easy target. Smaller frame, calm posture, no visible ego, no attempt to defend herself. A group of Marines stood, trays in hand, forming a loose circle around her table. "You lost?" one of them asked. She looked up slowly, expression neutral. "No." Another Marine leaned forward. "Because tomorrow's combat simulation, you're gonna get crushed." More laughter. She didn't flinch, didn't argue, didn't brag. She just continued eating. That silence irritated them more than any comeback could have. One of the corporals smirked. "What unit are you even with?" She wiped her hands calmly and met his eyes. "Attached," she said. "Attached to what?" he pressed. She paused a beat too long. "You'll see." The answer triggered more mockery. They assumed she was support staff, intelligence analyst, logistics, maybe communications. Definitely not combat. Across the hall, a senior training officer observed the interaction without stepping in. He had seen this before. Young Marines eager to prove dominance, pride wrapped in humor. What he hadn't seen before was her. Because beneath her plain uniform sleeve, hidden just out of sight, was a trident insignia worn not for display, but earned the hard way. She finished her meal, stood slowly, and walked straight through the group. No hesitation, no change in pace. The Marines parted instinctively. Not out of respect, but because something in her movement felt different. Disciplined. Measured. Like someone who had nothing to prove. As she exited the mess hall, one Marine called out behind her, "Tomorrow, don't be late." She didn't turn around. She didn't need to, because while they were planning to embarrass her, she already knew how this would end. Morning came fast. The mess hall confrontation was already fading from memory, mostly as a joke the Marines would retell to each other. The drill was simple, or so they thought. Urban assault scenario. Hostile targets simulated, a timed obstacle course, and she was in their unit. The Marines lined up, smirking. They were ready to prove their superiority, confident that the quiet Navy newcomer would struggle. But from the first whistle, everything changed. She moved with uncanny precision, not just speed, but awareness. Every movement measured, every line of sight calculated. Her steps were silent. Her posture perfect, even in full sprint across muddy terrain. The first obstacle came, a wall climb. Marines struggled, grunting and slipping. She scaled it flawlessly, almost fluidly, landing without a sound. One Marine whispered behind him, eyes wide. "Who is she?" She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Actions spoke louder than words. Through the course, she guided herself around every trap, every simulated threat, faster and more efficiently than any Marines expected. She bypassed checkpoints, cleared obstacles, and even covered blind zones others didn't see. By the halfway mark, confusion began to spread. The smug confidence from the mess hall melted into disbelief. "Is she a SEAL?" one Marine muttered. He tried to shrug it off, but the pattern was undeniable. She wasn't just surviving the exercises, she was controlling them. From the observation tower, the training officer leaned closer, mouth slightly open. He knew that trident insignia she hid under her sleeve wasn't for decoration. That emblem belonged to the Navy SEALs. The officer's voice was quiet, almost to himself. "She's one of them, not just in name." By the time the Marines reached the final stage, a simulated hostage rescue, they realized something vital. This wasn't a fair fight. They were being tested. Every move she made had been deliberate. every obstacle navigated with tactical foresight. The final whistle blew, scores were posted. She had finished first, by a significant margin. The Marines stood frozen, mud-streaked and exhausted, staring at the results. Some laughed nervously, some refused to look. She walked past them, calm and composed, leaving the lesson unspoken. Never underestimate what you cannot see.
The next phase wasn't just a drill. It was a live simulation. Hostages, obstacles, timed infiltration, and unexpected variables. The Marines charged in with confidence, expecting another easy demonstration. She followed, silent, observing. Every corner, every potential hazard, every teammate's blind spot. Then the chaos began. Simulated enemy fire erupted from multiple directions. The Marines flinched, scattered, tripping over themselves. Panic flared. Confidence evaporated. Not her. She moved as if the chaos were choreographed around her. With swift, controlled movements, she neutralized simulated threats, covering her team, guiding Marines who were struggling. Her voice was calm, precise. Cover left, move low, don't stop. They obeyed, not fully understanding why. A Marine stumbled near a simulated explosive. She was there in an instant, steadying him with one hand, clearing the zone with the other. Whispers spread through the ranks. She's not just trained, she's something else. The observation tower's senior officer, notebook in hand, shook his head. She's a SEAL, one of the real operators. That's why she's moving like that. By the end of the exercise, the Marines were exhausted, muddy, humbled. They had expected dominance over her. Instead, she had dominated the scenario, reshaping every tactic they thought they knew. The final stage required a rescue from a simulated hostage building. Marines were hesitant. She stepped in, demonstrating precision breaching techniques, leading the team through doors, corners, and cover points flawlessly. When the simulation ended, silence fell. Not out of awe, they were too stunned to speak. The results were clear. She hadn't just completed the drill, she had redefined it, turning their overconfidence into respect. As she walked past the Marines again, calm and unshaken, one of them muttered, almost reverently, "Guess we'll never underestimate her again." By evening, the tension had finally settled. The Marines were quiet. Mud-streaked and fatigued, they replayed every move she had made in their minds. What had started as mockery in the mess hall had ended in awe on the field. The senior training officer approached, a faint smile breaking his usually stern demeanor. "She's not just anyone," he said quietly. "You've all just trained with a real SEAL." Whispers spread. One Marine nudged another. "Did you see that insignia under her sleeve?" She walked calmly toward the exit, gear still neat, movements controlled, aura composed. No one spoke. No one dared challenge her. From the observation tower, the general descended, his eyes locking on her for the first time. He didn't need introductions. The badge, the precision, the calm authority, it all told him what the others were only starting to understand. "You weren't supposed to be recognized," he said quietly, almost to himself. She paused, giving him the faintest nod. "I never am," she replied. The Marines watched her leave the field, silence thick around them. They had expected arrogance, aggression, and words. Instead, she had given results, discipline, and a lesson none of them would forget. The general addressed the formation, calm and measured. "Respect is earned in action, not noise. Today, you learned why appearances deceive. Today, you learned humility." She disappeared beyond the perimeter, the sun casting her shadow long across the field. Her vest bore the nightshade-style insignia of the SEALs, a symbol of skill, secrecy, and lethal precision. The Marines finally understood the truth. She had never been there to prove herself. She had been there to reveal their limits, and they had all seen them. Sometimes, the most dangerous warriors are the ones no one expects.